and one of those would be Shreveport City Councilman Grayson Boucher. Hey, Mr. Grayson, welcome back to Kiel. What time did you go to bed? We're asking everybody.
Oh, it was, let's say probably about 1 o'clock. So go Tigers.
About 1 o'clock. I went to bed
Well,
about 11:45. Aaron was about the same time. 1 o'clock is that?
You were at a party, huh?
We had a little get together, so I had to get everything cleaned up. So anyway, yeah, it was about 1 o'clock.
Okay, so yesterday at the city council meeting, Cross Bayou came up and walked me through the machinations of Mr. Bradford's proposal. I guess he wants you guys to pass a recommendation or to go to the mayor to put together a binding resolution to come back to you that you have to pay. This is very confusing to me. What is it that Mr. Willie wants?
Well, I think that really what he's wanting is a commitment to the gateway development. And, and I understand where Willie's coming from. We do need some economic development. We need some stimulus in the city. I'm just not quite sure that this is the type of stimulus that we need. He's very passionate about it. I think if you listen to what he said, his several-minute speech about it, he's very passionate about it. However, I'm just not convinced. There's too many unanswered questions about this particular development that I can't support, and the overwhelming consensus of my district is, please don't support this.
Well, go ahead.
There's a piece in here that troubles me a lot. And it's one of those whereas clauses. They are all whereas clauses. Gateway's proposed development requires the city to acquire property needed for the project and to convey said property and currently owned city property to Gateway. That's got the word require and convey. That scares me. That's like we got to do this.
Well, not only does the MOU, in my opinion, keep any other type of development from going on across Bayou, and I'm not saying that that's what needs to happen because I'm not convinced that the development across Bayou. I know that you've talked about the park that from the 1996 bond issue, but not only does it tie us up until all these questions are answered, which there's several questions that have been asked by several council members to Gateway that have not been answered. It ties us up, but also we're purchasing this land, which in my opinion may have some environmental issues that could end up costing the city even more money. I just the whole thing. I'm not for us giving city-owned land or purchasing land and then giving it to a private development.
My company would like some land too, just FYI.
Yeah, Aaron McCarty LLC.
Yeah,
exactly. Speaking of the land giveaway, you're a real estate guy. The thing that's never been mentioned to this point is what the estimated value of those 88 acres that GDC wants the city to buy, what that value is. Do you have any idea what the price tag on that land would be if the city, if anybody tried to buy it?
I don't know. There's all kinds of different things that need to go into consideration. I mentioned the environmental issues, exactly which pieces of land. I mean, we haven't seen a survey to tell us exactly what pieces of land they want. There's questions about if some of it even borders Cross Bayou. There's several different things that come into effect whenever you're looking at value. Now, since you mentioned the real estate issue, I touch probably 40 or 50 real estate transactions a month in the city of Shreveport and the surrounding area by doing appraisals, and then I sell a little bit of real estate. So I see all these transactions going on in our city. My concern is, this group has not provided us with anything to say that we need this particular investment, regardless if it's commercial or residential. My concern is right now we're moving square pegs around in Shreveport, and people are moving from one neighborhood to another neighborhood. We've got to do something, and this is what I think Willie is saying. We've got to do something to stimulate growth, which would mean jobs and development. But before we can support any kind of residential or commercial development to this scale, we're going to have to get some better jobs in Shreveport and some more economic development. And I don't think this is the answer.
The other cost that nobody seems to be able to no one seems to be able to put a price tag on would be the environmental study and cleanup. We've heard 20, 25, maybe more than that, $1 million. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, and that goes back to your value issue. Does it affect the value of the property? Yes. And then who's going to be responsible for cleaning those up? Could there be any kind of legal, anything legally that the city may be left on the hook for if something ends up happening. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember years ago the whole Anderson Island deal with it being built on top of the Texaco refinery, and
Oh, yeah.
I don't, so there's all these things that we need to really, really be considering. And I just think that with, Liz Swain wrote a great article back a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure y'all saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the Times about let's develop what we've already got, the existing buildings that we've got downtown. I mean, you've got the Slattery building, the Johnson building, the Petroleum Tower. There are so many things downtown that we could go in and bring in jobs and businesses and things like that. I would rather see the city, I don't want to say spend taxpayer money because I don't think that's really what we need to be doing, but I would really like to see the city promoting that as opposed to a new development and we're just moving square pegs around.
Mr. Bradford brings it up because he has the votes, because he wants a vote, and if the vote is no, is it dead? Is the Cross Bayou project dead?
The way I count it, and if I've learned anything over this last year, until we sit down there and push that button, I don't trust the count. But the way I count it, I don't see any way that it can pass. I don't know exactly. I don't think we're going to have any kind of action on it today due to the legal issues that we've got going on right now, the lawsuit that was filed by Mr. Settle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's going to be a whole bunch of debate on it. The city attorney told us yesterday in an open meeting not to really discuss it. So I doubt there's going to be a vote on it today. Well, I mean, or it won't be a vote today. It'll be in 2 weeks anyway. But I doubt there's going to be a whole bunch of discussion today. So I don't see that it's going to pass. And I think that
Would that kill this project? If the council votes no, does that kill it? Do these folks go away?
I don't know. They've been fairly persistent. I would think in my mind, yes. I would think, we've tried twice now or, several times to get something going on and we can't get it done. I mean, I think it would be a waste of time for them to consider going forward.
Have you gotten any inclination from GDC, from the Cross Bayou developers, those folks? Have you gotten any inclination that they want to negotiate on their demands with the city? In other words, well, we want the $88 million, we want the TIF, we want the environmental cleanup. Tell you what, since you voted no, or since it doesn't look like you have the votes, how's about we split the cost of the land, we'll pay for the environmental cleanup, et cetera, et cetera. Have you gotten any sense that their demands, their wants from the city are carved in stone, or are they willing to deal?
Robert, I'll be honest with you, they have not, nobody from GDC has contacted me. Out of all the council members on the council, from what I understand, talking to my colleagues, they've all been contacted in one way or another. I have not been contacted because I've been a strong no, just due to the economic development issue with the real estate market and things like that. They've not contacted me, so I can't speak for them. I do kind of have in the back of my mind that there could be a possibility that there might be some dealings going on, but not with me. I've not had any conversation about negotiating any of the terms of the MOU.
If they came to you, we're talking to Councilman Grayson Boucher. If they came to you with a signed deal from the state saying we're ready to move our state office building down there, and they came to you with an agreement from the parish saying we're ready to move our courthouse down there and pay to build it, would that change your thinking at all?
I don't think so. No, I'm 100% against moving the state building. I think that only does exactly what I said, moving square pegs. We end up with, look, you've got Shumpert that's 25% occupied now thanks to Oshner's coming in. At least we have 25% there. You would kill that Fairfield area right there, and that 500 jobs right in that area would kill, businesses right around there. So I'm not for that at all. So.